You're in the middle of something. Maybe you're working at your desk, maybe you're on the phone, maybe you're cooking or reading or just staring at a screen trying to focus, and then it happens. You feel it before you see it. A soft nudge against your hand, against your leg, against whatever part of you they can reach. You look down, and there they are, sitting right beside you, looking up at you with those eyes, completely still, completely focused, holding something in their mouth, a toy, a sock, a ball, sometimes something they found from across the house that you didn't even know they had. They don't bark, they don't whine, they just offer it to you. And then they wait. Most people laugh. They reach down, maybe toss it once, maybe say not now, and go back to what they were doing. But here's what almost no one stops to ask. Why that moment? Why when you're busy? Why not when you're relaxed, when you have time, or when you're already paying attention? Why do they always seem to choose the exact moment you're somewhere else? There's an answer to that question, and it's not what most people think. Most dog owners assume this is attention-seeking behaviour. Pure and simple. The dog is bored, the dog wants to play, the dog is being a little pushy, a little impatient, maybe even a little manipulative in that charming way dogs sometimes are. And on the surface, that explanation feels complete enough. So most owners either play along for a moment or gently redirect, and the whole thing gets filed away as just another cute dog moment without any deeper meaning. But behavioural researchers who study canine communication and social bonding have observed something that changes that interpretation entirely. What your dog is doing in that moment is not random. It is not purely about play. And it is not simply about getting your attention for the sake of getting your attention. It is one of the most layered forms of communication your dog is capable of, and most owners never realise they've been receiving a message. 1. The offering instinct and what it actually means. There is something ancient happening when your dog brings you an object. In wild canid groups, wolves, wild dogs, social canines living in cooperative packs, bringing food or objects back to other members of the group is a deeply embedded social behaviour. It signals trust. It signals investment in the relationship. It says, I found something valuable, and you are important enough to share it with. Dogs evolved alongside humans for tens of thousands of years, and somewhere in that evolution, this offering instinct didn't disappear. It transferred. The toy in your dog's mouth is not just a toy. From your dog's behavioural perspective, it is a resource, something worth having, something worth carrying across the room and placing at the feet of the one they consider most important in their world. Behavioural researchers studying object carrying in domestic dogs have noted that this behaviour increases significantly in emotionally bonded dogs. Dogs who show strong attachment patterns toward a specific person. It is not random selection. The dog almost always brings the object to their primary attachment figure, to the person they love most. Which means the next time your dog nudges your hand while you're trying to finish a deadline, understand what that gesture actually carries with it. 2. Why busy moments? Trigger the behaviour. More than calm ones. This is the part that surprises people most. You would think a dog would bring you a toy when you're relaxed, when you're sitting on the couch, when you're idle, when playtime feels natural. But dogs are extraordinarily sensitive to emotional availability. They read human body language and behavioural cues in ways that most people significantly underestimate. When you are calm and present, when you're watching television, when you're settled and open, your dog already feels connected to you. The bond feels active, there is no gap to close. But when you are focused elsewhere, when your energy shifts, when your eyes are fixed on a screen, when your body language becomes closed and concentrated, your dog registers that shift as a form of distance. Not physical distance, emotional distance. And that creates something in them that functions almost like low-level anxiety. Studies on oxytocin, the bonding hormone released in both dogs and humans during positive social interaction, suggest that dogs are acutely sensitive to disruptions in their bonding routine with their primary owner. When that connection feels interrupted, even temporarily, they seek to restore it. The toy is the tool they've learned to use. It is not manipulation. It is repair. They are trying to rebuild the moment of connection they can feel slipping. 3. The vulnerability hidden inside the gesture. Here is something most owners completely miss. Watch your dog the next time they bring you something. Not just what they do. Watch how they do it. Notice how they hold the object. not aggressively, not playfully, carefully, almost gently. Notice how they approach you slowly rather than rushing. Notice how they sit and wait instead of demanding. That posture is not coincidental. When a dog offers you something while holding still, making soft eye contact and waiting quietly, that is a display of emotional vulnerability. It is the canine equivalent of reaching out without knowing if you'll reach back. Behavioral scientists who study canine social cognition have observed that this kind of quiet offering behavior is most commonly directed toward individuals the dog trusts completely. Dogs do not make themselves emotionally vulnerable in front of strangers or figures they are uncertain about. The offering requires trust, because there is always the possibility, from their perspective, that you won't respond, and still they bring it. If you're seeing your dog differently right now, if something about the way you've been reading these moments is starting to shift, hit like and subscribe. There's more to this than most people ever take the time to understand. 4. The misunderstanding that quietly hurts the bond. This is where many owners, without knowing it, send the wrong message. When a dog brings you something and you respond with "not now" and look away, when you wave them off or redirect them without any acknowledgement, your dog does not process that the way you intend. You mean, "I'm busy, we'll play later"? They experience something closer to, the offer was rejected. Done once, it means very little. Dogs are resilient, they recalibrate quickly, but done consistently, always looking away, always redirecting, never pausing to acknowledge the gesture, it gradually registers in a dog's emotional world as a pattern. The bond doesn't break, but it adjusts. Some dogs stop bringing objects, not because they've stopped wanting to connect, but because they've learned that this particular form of reaching out doesn't reach back. This is not meant to create guilt. Owners are busy, life is full, but understanding what is behind the gesture changes how you receive it. Even a 3-second pause, a moment of eye contact, a gentle touch, a quiet word, tells your dog that the offering was seen. That is enough. That is everything. 5. What toy selection actually tells you about your dog's emotional state. Here is something most owners never notice. The object your dog chooses matters. Dogs who feel secure and playful often bring high-energy toys. Balls, rope toys, something they associate with active play. They bounce, they spin, they want movement. But dogs in a more emotionally tender state, dogs who are anxious, uncertain, or simply craving closeness, often bring softer objects, plush toys, worn items, sometimes something that belongs to you. Researchers studying attachment behavior in dogs have noted that proximity to familiar scent is a self-soothing mechanism. When a dog brings you something that carries your scent, a worn sock, a piece of clothing, something you use regularly, that is not random. They have been using your scent as comfort, and now they are bringing the comfort back to the source of it. That is a level of emotional intelligence that most people never attribute to a dog. 6. The one behavior. Most owners overlook entirely. Sometimes a dog brings you something and does not want to play with it. They don't drop it at your feet expecting you to throw it. They don't nudge it toward you and back away. They bring it, they stand close, and they simply hold it while staying near you. This is the behavior that carries the deepest meaning. Behavioral researchers call this comfort object carrying, and it has been observed most frequently in dogs during moments when their owner is visibly stressed, emotionally quiet, or physically unwell. Your dog is not offering you a toy to play with, they are offering you company. They are saying, "I don't know exactly what is happening with you right now, but I am here, and I brought something because I didn't know what else to bring." That is not a simple animal following a simple instinct. That is a creature who has learned to read you deeply enough to know when you need presence more than play. The next time your dog nudges you mid-task, that toy pressed gently into your hand, those eyes looking up at you with quiet patience, you will know what it is now. It is an offering, built from trust, refined over thousands of years of living beside human beings, delivered in the only language they have. They can't say the words, but they found another way to say them, and they keep finding their way back to you, because that is what they do. That is who they are.